Hi, scholars. So let's talk about a little more about decimals. And when you're multiplying or dividing, we don't have to worry about lining them up because place value matters, but in a different way. So when multiplying or dividing, we don't line them up, we count them up. So for example, this first problem right here, if you can envision that you have 4 piles of and there's $1.25 in each pile. We have $1.25, $1.25, $1.25, and $1.25. Well, you can think about that in your head. You already know, well, I have $4, right? And then I have 4 quarters, and 4 quarters is $1. So that should be $5. Pretty easy, right? We'll start with an easy problem. So 5 times 4 is 20. We regroup that 2. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10. And then we regroup this 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Okay, without taking into account the decimals in this problem, we have an answer of 500. Now, if you know a way to take $4, $4 bills and 4 quarters and turn that into $500, you let me know. But this is incorrect, unfortunately. Okay, so we have 2 decimal places here, right, in the problem in total. Okay, so we're going to start our decimal point here, and we're going to swoop it 2 times to the left. 1, 2. So our actual answer is 5 0/100, right? Or another way to say that is just 5. Make sense? Okay, let's talk about a little bit of a more complicated problem. Let's say we had to find the area of a rectangle. That's a lousy rectangle, but you get the idea. We have to find the area of a rectangle, and one side of this rectangle is 3 46/100, we'll say inches. 3 46/100 inches, or meters, or let's use meters. Okay. 3 46/100 meters, and then this side is 1 34/100 meters. So when we multiply these 2 together, the very first thing that I do to make sure my answer would be correct is think, well, this number is about 3 and this number is about 1. My final answer should be about 3 times 1, which is I should have about 3 square meters in here. So let's do the multiplication. 6 times 4 is 24. I regroup this 2, right? 4 times 4, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Then I regroup this 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay. We're not there yet. We've got a little bit more to go, right? And I need, I have a 0 here as a placeholder also, because now I'm multiplying this, this 3, which if there weren't decimals here, it would be in the tens place, but really we're multiplying in the tenths place right now. 3 times 6 is 18, and I regroup, this time I regroup the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 more is 13, and I'm regrouping a 1 again. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Okay. They start to look like upside down wedding cakes, but the nice thing here is I've got a 1, and I know right off the top of my head what that's going to be. Okay, now we've got to add them up, and I've got 4, 16 here. I can make it 10, and then 3 more is 13, 4, 5, 6, and 3 and 1 is 4. Okay, now we know there aren't 46,364 square meters in here. Doesn't make sense. That answer wouldn't make sense. How many decimal places do we have all together? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm starting over here, and I'm going to swoop it 4 places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my answer ends up being 4 and 60 and 6,364 10,000s. Is that answer closer to 3 than 4,600? Yeah, You bet it is. That makes a whole lot more sense than my answer. I know you can't quite see without my swoops there, but there's my final answer. 4.6364 for 4 and 6,364 10,000s. Makes a whole lot more sense. Okay, also we need to count them up when we're dividing too, right? So if we have $1 worth of quarters, okay, and you have 25 cents, you want to know how many quarters there are in $1. I went ahead and put those 2 zeros there because I knew I was going to need them. But I can also think of division problems like fractions. That's why fractions are your friends. There. So $1 divided by 25 cents. I could also multiply top and bottom by 100 and change this problem into 100 divided by 25. That's an equivalent fraction, right? Because 100 divided by 100 is just 1. So I haven't changed my fraction at all. And 100 divided by 25 is equal to 4. When you're dividing with decimals and you've counted up how many decimal places you have here, that's how, and you move it to the right 2 places here. The reason you also have to move it 2 places here is because what you're effectively doing is multiplying both of these numbers by 100. Or if you're only moving this one 1, you're multiplying both by 10. If you have to move it 3, you're multiplying by 1,000. Okay, so my decimal place, once I've moved it, it just goes straight up, and 25 goes into 100 4 times. 4 times 25 is 100. And we're finished. And that answer also makes sense. How many quarters are there in $1? This you already know. Okay, so when multiplying and dividing, you don't have to line them up, you have to count them up. Thank you, scholars.